Hello, everyone, and good evening. Although I don't know how good it is, it has been definitely a weird day. Me and an old friend had planned a nice evening with, cups of tea and old friendship talk and all that. And then, I don't know, insurrection started. So we'll be doing both, kind of intermixed. So we're going to hop live here, and you're going to meet my good old friend Evan. Goes by Vcash. You'll see him in the chat there. And here we go. Let's see if that worked. There he is. Look at that.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, and guess what, chat? For all of you who have been here since the beginning, was that not the cleanest transition I've ever done? Like, it's actually working, and I didn't have to move everything around again. It's a miracle.
Super good. Well done. Well done.
Right?
You reformed hacker can barely learn streaming. This is great, Craig.
You know what? When I first loaded up OBS, the thing I thought to myself was, how many 13, 14, and 15-year-olds are my kids watching play Minecraft on Twitch with OBS, and I can't figure this shit out? And I'm
right.
like,
You start feeling like your parents at some point, when you're just like, dude, like I could get my neighbor to explain this to me,
right?
And they haven't figured out,
right?
Whatever.
Technology
we press on.
Isn't meant for us to use. We're supposed to build it, like as tech people, and so like when other people build it, it isn't intuitive to me.
Right. No, it doesn't always make the same sense as it does when you build it yourself. But you could say the same thing for most things. I don't understand most cars unless I build it.
So everyone on the stream who's been watching, you might have, and I'm going to reach over here, you might have seen me a couple times bring out my mask with like Kurt and a few others. But I brought out this mask specifically.
Wow.
And I still have this old mask that Evan made me. Right? In perfect condition.
Wow.
And
yeah, for sure.
So I have shown that mask a few times to him. But this is the artist. This is my good old friend who actually made that mask. And you can see up on his wall up there a few more, a little row of them.
Yeah.
And the Anani mask project.
Right. It was Project Nana Mask, which you actually can't see because I'm not going to show it. It actually goes all the way around my room and then up over here. So my entire ceiling is lined with my favorite Anana masks, including like the one that started it all, that I bought in London when I was on tour there. And then actually, if you look at, see if I get my finger, this one right here, that silver one is the one that I made for myself that started the whole project. And man, that project just became a monster on its own, dude. Like,
I remember seeing a few interesting people get masks with your artwork on it.
Yeah, there was some heavy hitters, man. It was just funny because like it all started. I just wanted to show my support for Occupy, right? And that was what, 10 years ago, 11 years ago now.
While ago.
And yeah, so I made that one. And I wore it on stage. And by the time I had gotten off of stage, I had like 10 orders for people. So I was like, sure, I'll make a few more. And then I think it started like, turning this whole thing about, bringing personalization into anonymity. And I really started, it blew up. And I remember there was a protest in like Tokyo or something like, no, Hong Kong. Years after I started, it pretty much doesn't matter. Anywhere there was a protest worldwide, I would get at least one phone call and one order. It just started spiral. It just started, really.
I love seeing projects like that work for artists, because I know so many artists who have tried like 100 different ways to, just make the food show up, and they start projects like this and they never work. And you've always been the artist type.
I mean, the thing is, it's like I don't know. I'm a pretty loud person. I'm a pretty intense individual, and like I come from a graffiti background. So anything that I do, I'm gonna do it big. I'm gonna put it right in your face. And if you love it or hate it,
I just about screamed out your tag name, but I didn't.
That's fine. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I was like, no.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Greg, I know you know. Don't say it. I'm sure there's people that would still love to find me.
Right.
But because of that, I just sort of like, anything I do, I try to make it, as big as possible. And I think that's sort of how like it led to the visuals and everything else. Like it just sort of.
And now you're a VJ and you're out there doing all the visual audio work and building stages and then being on some of them.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff. It's good
Thanks, man.
times, and we'll
Yeah,
link
dude.
to some of that in the description when we go up to like I didn't tell you this, but the next day this goes up on YouTube, and so
Cool.
I fill out the description with links to everything. It goes up on my site with all the links to like your socials, your stuff. So we'll get all that done.
Dope.
But yeah, one of the things I wanted to say is for anyone out there looking at this who might want a mask or something else, or might want to talk to him, by all means reach out. But I know there's some people in the chat here, and I've got some fans who are just at this point I consider friends. And I want to introduce you to someone who was one of the best friends you could possibly have to me in a rough time of my life. I spent about 7 years awaiting going to prison when I was on my way to prison in various trials and various states of I think I might be arrested next month for 7 years. And I met up with Evan relatively late in that process, but for all of 2006 and some of 2007, before I went into federal prison, I spent at least 3, if not 4 or 5 nights a week out just with Evan. Evan was the guy who the entire time I was awaiting the randomness of when I might actually finally see a judge and go to prison, kept my spirits up, entertained me, took me out, just everything you can imagine. This was the guy.
Thanks, man. I remember those times fondly. I just like, I don't know, that never bothered me. I don't like, I'm from the West Coast. I have friends everywhere. I've had friends get locked up before. I know that time in people's lives is like, there's nothing worse than waiting, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember when I first met you, there was something about you that was like you were trying to keep it in the back burner. Like we would have a conversation and I could see there was something you wanted to say. And so I remember just being like, I'm going to fucking figure this guy out. Like I'm going to figure out what it is. And pretty quickly I figured out it was that. And I was like, oh dude, like I got your back. So yeah, no, we did everything. We would just gallivant out around town and snowball stuff and just like whatever random thing came to our mind, like we would just fuck it, let's go.
It was a lot of fun.
And then you got locked up and when you got back out, I remember it was a little bit before we could hang out again, and then we did it again, and we went and like I don't know. It was the same in reverse. Like you showed me a really good time. Like you introduced me to one of my favorite movies of all time, The Warriors, which like I'm still shocked I hadn't seen. Holy cow, man. That like I have like all of the Funko Pops. I have the entire collection of Warriors.
Nice.
I dressed up as a baseball Fury for a couple Halloweens ago. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It was never a second thought, Greg. You've always been a true blue homie, so
now for the audience, the interesting part of all this is I'd say the last 5 years or so, we ended up pretty far apart, maybe even a little longer than that. Different friend groups, just different everything. And we ended up just kind of slowly drifting in different directions. I was getting old, because I am older than you, but the younger kind of you are when you're in your like 20s, like mid 20s and high 20s, like it's not that big of a difference. But by now you still are, going out to parties. You're still going to clubs. Now, a lot of that's work. But I don't have it in me anymore. It's just not there.
I remember when I first started doing visuals and you would come out occasionally, and then it sort of like at some point I remember that look of you were just sort of over it. But yeah, man, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love partying, or I used to love partying. It's a big part of my life, but at this point it's really all about the entertainment and the art for me. If I wasn't doing visuals or my body art, I don't really think I'd be hitting. I'd be doing this. I'd be going to as many shows as I kind of have to for networking. But I'm not gonna lie, dude. There was a time, we had a really close mutual friend, Alyssa, and she was my best friend. She was one of Gregg's best friends, and when she passed away, dude, I was already in like the throes of alcoholism and addiction. And then when she died, I just fucking spiraled out of control, dude. I was just a mess of just popping whatever I could into my face. And Gregg was one of 2 people that was like, fuck this, come out, like, fuck you, come out, like, knock this off, come over, and without any judgment. And then sort of what happened was, we shared that office for a while. And then I think my depression it just really took the best of me. Like, I'm not going to lie. It was a really bad, dark time. And it took basically me hitting a solid rock bottom to come out of it, to like tell myself like, I didn't need this. I was doing a disservice to her. And so then when I started like rebuilding my life, I kind of rebuilt it in a way that was so hyper focused on creativity and on art that sort of everybody in the past, I just kind of was like, look, I love you guys, and I'm always here for you. But like right now I have to focus on this. And that's sort of what's been happening. I haven't seen really like any of the old friends. I ran to Jeff the other day because he had some like Cat 6 cable for me for a show that I was doing. But other than that, like I just super hyper focused on visuals and art and just kind of changing my addiction into something that was more positive, but it's like I never forgot about that. I always remember like how much you were there for me and every week, like it was sort of like the same thing as reverse. Like it was never a question. You were just like, I have this extra room in my office, come use it, dude. Like, let's go, and I tried a couple things.
When I got into the Artisans Asylum, I was like, come use the rooms, do whatever. Like,
I remember that. Yeah. That was such a, like, I'm not going to lie. That was a dark time in my life, dude. That was a time that I wasn't sure of which way was up. And I was slamming down like, man, it was like a 30 rack every night or like a bottle of tequila. Like I would just show up to whatever I was doing already drunk. I mean, but there was a crazy side of that too. Cause like these masks, right? Like that was also during that time. Some of the craziest art and the best things that you can ever come up with in your life are in your darkest moments, as long as you like push it out. And so I told myself that I would like, if I was going to get messed up, if I was going to get fucked up, I would have to create something. So there was some sort of positive thing. And that's how I ended up making like 650 something masks in like, you
were churning them out in a period there.
Yeah.
And
it was like one a day.
You didn't want to hear from the teetotaler who's never had alcohol or drugs about the problem. Right. I brought it up like twice and you were like, you don't know, shut up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know me, dude, I've always been strong-headed, so it's like, it wasn't even just you, it was like anybody that would tell me, it would always be that stupid shit where they'd be like, I think you have a drinking problem, and I'd be like, it's only a problem if I don't have a drink. It's like, nah, dude, like, I had a problem, bro, but, I also, like, I didn't do it the same way as a lot of people who, like, went to AA and tried to get, and need to get the help. For me, I knew I was going to keep working in the nightclub, so I just sort of used the memory of Alyssa as a way to help push that forward. And then just a bunch of angry, resentful shit I had built up, I just kind of threw it forward. But yeah, no, you were not blind to it. You were definitely like, bro, like, simmer down
here,
Right.
So
right.
Another thing, for everyone kind of watching this, the interesting nature of this is that, like I said there, it's been years since we really were hanging out. So we've talked about this on here before, as a couple other friends of mine have shown up, and it's been ones that are better than me. And so, I mean that very clearly and very on point. They are, because they keep up the relationship with me when I don't put in that work. And it's not because like I'm trying to be an ass. I literally just don't remember to put in the work. Like it doesn't come to me. And so they've done a good job of keeping it up. And I've joked with them on stream about the fact that I don't seem to have the thing that makes me do that extra bit of work, and I wish I did. But me,
I don't know, man.
We separated a while ago, so this is us reconnecting. We haven't talked in a while.
No, I haven't.
Than 5 minutes.
I haven't seen your beard like this, all gray. I mean, like I've gone gray too up here. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's not putting in the work, because that's such a self-defeating like philosophy. I think for people like you and me who, like having a 9-to-5 job has never been either of our things. Like we're just not about it. So like, I feel like for people like you and me, we focus on trying to do things so differently that the normalcy that other people find so easy, we just don't do. It's sort of, we're also both kind of like a roller coaster. It's like if you want to hang out, I got this ticket for you and you can buy the ride. But if not, the thing's moving anyway. And so yeah, it's just funny because like when you talked to me, like what was it, like 2 days ago that hit each other up, that you hit me up. I wasn't even like, oh man, Greg, like freak. It was like I hadn't talked to you in 5 minutes. And I think that's the true sign of any friendship, is like any amount of time can pass, but because you've been through so much with somebody, it just doesn't matter,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm glad
I feel
to see
we can pick it right back up.
Yeah, for sure. If we wanted to, I could like set up a movie on the screen and we could start watching whatever and just goof around like we did back in the day.
I know you love it.
Yo,
that has such a good soundtrack. I know you love that soundtrack.
Okay, so not only does that have an amazing soundtrack, but I have the coolest story about that soundtrack.
Okay.
I did a couple shows over the years. I've now done a few shows with the Crystal Method.
Yep.
Right. And he has actually become kind of a homie.
Nice.
We text every once in a while. He sends me, like, we goof around for 2020. We sort of was trying to lift each other's spirits and like be like, dude, shows will get back. But I remember the first time I heard the Crystal Method was during the Hacker soundtrack. And I must have been like 13, 14 years old. And then when I got to do a show with him and do his visuals, it was like it was like everything I could do to not fangirl.
Right.
And then now it's gone to the point where I'm just like, I still love it every time I see one of my Instagram posts is just like, the Crystal Method liked your post. And I'm like,
I know, right? Oh my God. I've got a few of those too. I love that shit.
It's just great. It's a good feeling, but yeah, I love Hackers, dude. Oh, Angelina Jolie in her prime. My God. But yeah, let's watch that.
Yeah, so there's a lot to talk about. One, you have a new podcast coming, but we'll talk about that a little later because I want to kind of go out with stuff like that so people can remember, they can go check it out. Sure. But today we were just gonna hang out, catch up, and let the world watch. However, then insurrection happened.
Yeah.
So we have QAnon fools storming the Capitol and getting in. We have Trump egging them on. We have a band of Republicans fueling the fire by contesting the electoral votes. I mean, it's just holy shit.
Oof. Yeah, man. There's a lot there. It's really funny. It's fucking hilarious. It's not funny, but it's funny, right? The first thing so me and my girl were sitting here, and we were gonna go out to like lunch or something, and all of a sudden it popped on the news because we were gonna watch the contesting the contestant, the contesting the election happening.
Yep.
And it popped on the news, and it was just like the first thing that came to my mind was like, dude, if any of us during the BLM protests did anything close to that, we would all be shot instantly. Yeah. But the cops had absolutely no problem with what they were doing. And then even they had already broken the windows. They had stormed in. They were sitting at the speakers' chairs. They had gotten to all that before the cops actually started doing anything.
Yeah.
But the other part of it, man, is sort of just like, this country, there's a lot of problems that go on in America. It's one of the things you and I bonded over was just like, there's something systemically wrong with the United States. And so seeing this happen is on the one hand, surprising and shocking. And on the other hand, like not shocking at all, dude. I was like, yeah, about time,
Yeah. So I'd like to address a couple things. One, Amber, you are correct. They did delete 3 of Trump's tweets. And they did also then from Twitter Safety, at Twitter Safety, say that, and I've retweeted this one already, they tweeted out that if he does it again, they're going to deactivate his account.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, I would like to add also, Dev Null brings up an interesting point in the chat where he talks about the National Guard. And I'll tell you, this is the problem with DC not having statehood. Well, there's 100 reasons it needs statehood. But if DC had statehood, then the governor has the power to do things like, say, the National Guard in instances like this and to pre-plan for some of this and just a whole much more power that instead, because DC being a district and the president and the blah, 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 you end up with a ton of bureaucracy that slows the process way down and you need someone else to call in extra forces. So today, Trump didn't even do it. Pence did.
Right.
When they finally showed up late to start clearing people out of the Capitol building. But if it had been that DC was a state at this point, the governor could have done this work. Now, I find myself in this very interesting spot today of conflicting desires. One, I don't want governors calling out the National Guards on my friends, so I don't want governors to have more power to do that. But at the same time, in this instance, yeah, they should have been there early.
Right. So that's the thing that's important, that with people like you and me, it's always kind of hard. There's a duality with us, right? Because we don't want to be hypocritical. We don't want to feel and to repeat the same ire that, you know, Republicans, the GOP, and right wingers have thrown at us when we're trying to do our constitutional duty to protest when we see something wrong.
Yeah.
But on the other token, there's a part of us that's just like, yeah, fuck you guys, you know.
I get death threats every day, every couple days on Parler, because I have a Parler.
Sorry about that, man. I can't help it. I can't help it.
I understand. You know, but so I don't want to be that guy. So another thing today was, you know, I'm in a lot of private chats with people that we do all kinds of fun things in that, you know, just aren't for public consumption. But well, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
You remember.
Yeah.
But
I remember.
Yeah, so in there, you know, a lot of chat happened where people jokingly said, "Why haven't they started shooting them yet?" And my problem is, like, we want protests to be allowed, but we want the people who entered that building to be either stopped at the front of the building or arrested as soon as they get into the damn thing, like tackled, whatever. But the idea that you want all of these cops and guards and FBI agents to just start opening fire on these people, well, that's fascist. That is fascism. So, like, I would not cry, I think, if a fair number of the people who broke into the Capitol building today ended up shot. Like, I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. That's for the right-wing media to do, and lie about and make up stories for. But I will say that, like, I also don't want to live in a country where we are telling law enforcement to just open fire and start executing people. So,
well, that's a floodgate. Once you open that, that's it. And unfortunately, the thing that sucks here is that police are supposed to use discretion. Law enforcement is not supposed to take sides. Once you allow them,
they very much have, though.
Oh, they totally have. Man. Last time I saw Lauren, who you said was on the show, last week.
She's been on a couple times.
Dope. It's one of my favorite people. Yeah. Last time I saw them was at you know, the State House here in Boston. But it was at one of those protests, and it was, you know, the Trump supporters were right against the State House, facing where the you know, us leftists were on our side. And so were the cops. They weren't facing towards the Trump supporters. It was all straight at us. I think I ended up, you know, sort of like just screaming a bunch and then driving home. But, you know, they've definitely taken sides. And that's a sad state of affairs when, I don't know. It's complicated, man. I have a really interesting love for like cops in Boston and Massachusetts. A lot out of everywhere I've lived in this country, town cops and Boston cops, it's like, it's just a job. They treat it like it's just a job. But then cops out in California are so by the book that they'll throw you in jail for jaywalking. And so I don't know. I have a weird like disrespect for police. A policeman as an individual, it's kind of like people versus a person. Like a cop can be intelligent and handle things correctly, but when you get a mob mentality of law enforcement, it's just never going to go right. So
that's an opinion you're allowed to have. I have other opinions.
Right. It just really depends, dude. Right. Yeah, for sure.
If you're willing to take the job, you've already agreed to accept all of the systemic problems. If they were willing to hire you, then you're definitely the right kind of person for them to hire, which is also a bad sign. So I'm just 100% ACAB.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely something to be said for the systemic problems of law enforcement. You know, I've run into some pretty fucking shitty cops in my day. Getting your ass beat by police is never fun.
No,
it's never a good time.
No,
watching your homies getting dragged, you know, by their ankles for graffiti is never fun. the problems are there. The problems need to be addressed. There's no reason that Boston PD, one of the smallest cities in the country, should be making $500 million a year. That just shouldn't happen. Just not a thing.
Fucking crazy.
You know, I think I also want to believe in the best in people, but I don't know. You're not wrong, dude. When a cop chooses to be a cop, they've kind of made that choice.
They selectively hire, and that's I mean, really, I mean, we're at the problem starts there.
Right.
Yeah.
Devin, raise your hand and beat up by a cop. Yeah.
There's like videos of this happening to me out there. So like, I mean, I've definitely. Thanks for the follow there for Forbidden Plant. I like it. It
actively suggests it's high intelligence candidates. That's true. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, interesting times. You mentioned Jeff earlier, and you know, I talked to him for the first time in almost a year, like 2 days ago.
Nice.
You know, it's just very rare that we talk these days because, as you know, Jeff, for all the fans, is a roommate of mine for many years. While I was again in that time period where me and Evan were hanging out a whole lot, and on my way to prison, Jeff was my roommate, and he is on the right in terms of most of his views, libertarian, right leaning. He is definitely not on the left, and
that's true.
And when it comes to a lot of those people who we say, how does someone believe this? When me and Jeff do talk, it's because he's giving me one of those and saying, but this guy said this. And I'm like, but it's that guy. We know all he does is lie. And he's like, well, but I did some research. And I said, Jenny Down the Block's blog is not research. Like, you know? And I love Jeff, but like, I wish he hadn't gone that way.
I mean, I agree. I think Jeff Bezos.
No, I wish Bezos, man.
Yo, for real.
I would still be hitting him up to pay my rent right now.
Yeah, I think he would have just given you a house at some point, Greg, just to get you out of his hair.
Right.
But yeah, man, I don't know. We have it. You and I are very gregarious people. We're likable people. We have a lot of friends on both sides of the aisle. I have a lot of.
Well, I grew up in Texas, so like everyone I grew up with, damn it.
Dude, for real.
My whole family, it's not even right, dude.
I mean, they are right. They're literally on the right. That's their whole thing. But it's, I don't know, it's for me, I miss the days when we were growing up, when you could politically disagree with somebody and actually disagree with them on most everything. But at the end of the day, you were still friends, you know? I miss civil discourse. I still, to this day, you know, if I'm at a job site and somebody says some ignorant shit, like I'll still pull them aside and be like, hey, man, where'd you hear that? You know, let's talk. Just let's talk. Not let's yell at each other. I don't think you're an asshole. And it's those moments when you can actually reach somebody on the other side who might just not know the same things that you know, that it's great. The problem is that people on the right don't want to hear what you have to say. Extremism is extremism. There's a lot of people I know that are leftists that don't want to hear what anybody on the right has to say. I will always give somebody the respect to listen to their side of the argument if they give me the same respect back. And if you don't, then like, honestly,
the biggest issue for me these days is that I do love heated debate. I love the art of argumentation. I don't like just a stupid argument for no reason about who actually slammed the door or some stupid shit that might happen, you know. No. Right. But heated debate is fun. However, everyone on the right that has in any way wanted to debate me in the last few years has been a disingenuous actor, has not been an honest actor. So they won't go into those attempting to use truth to win. They will go into those not caring whether they're lying or being hypocrites, just whatever they can to win a point. And that's not a heated debate. That's just someone sitting there lying and saying what the crowd wants or what your friends standing around you want, you know? And that's where we landed.
It is. It really is. What I remember when I think about good debates is actually debates you and I used to have at my apartment in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Or those were you like me and Greg used to sit down and we would choose a topic and just sort of go off on it. And it really didn't matter what we actually believed. It was for the fun of having an argument. We talked a lot about anarchy was a big one. And really at the end of the day, it was fucking fun, you know? And then at the end of it, it's like, I would go get drunk and, you know, get stoned and somebody would do something silly. But it's like, you just don't see that anymore. And everybody's just sort of in their own social media echo chamber and like holding their ears and closing their eyes and being like, la, 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 I don't want to hear what you have to say. You're just wrong. And man, that's the big problem. Like disagree with me all you want, but have a good reason for it. Come at me with like a legitimate idea.
Well, yeah, but then they might have to use science, which they don't agree with, or math. No.
Sorry, they're anti that stuff, dude. That's not always their forte.
So, Dev Null, I got to tell you, that bot is way too overzealous. It did it to Amber earlier. It's done it to many people. I am going to play with its settings and try and tone it down a bit because I'm getting sick of this. The problem is that when we have Kurt on, we have these people who drop like 10 paragraph long comments. So I've got to have the bot, but we've got to find a good middle ground so I can still read it on stream, but not, have it do this to all the regulars here.
Greg, that's kind of your own fault, man. You brought in a guy who runs a Chan. Like come on. What do you think was going to happen?
Whole user base, except for, half of them.
Right. Yeah. I love them all except for the ones that I hate. Right. I'd feel the same way with Trump supporters, bro. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's today was fucking crazy. Today was fucking insane.
It was. And like, I posted a picture of a guy walking through the halls of the Capitol building with a giant Confederate flag. During the Civil War, the closest that battle flag got to DC was 95 miles.
I mean, that's
Today,
insane.
It walked the halls of the Capitol building. What the fuck?
Unfucking real. Unfucking real. Yeah, there was shit going on.
After a black senator was voted in Georgia.
Right? Yo, that is fucking cool. That is cool.
Well, yes, one of those is cool, and the juxtaposition of the two of them is not.
Right, for sure. But like that's where our country's at right now. That's where society in general is at right now. There's just this divide that's been like strict down the middle. There seems to be like no nuance or gray area in the world. It's just like dope shit, awful shit, depending on what side you're on. Right. What happened in Georgia, dude, I never thought I would live to see the day that the Democrats would win Georgia. That is insane. I mean, here's the one thing I will say. If this is it, I hope this is it with Trump. If this is it with Trump, and what ends up happening because of his presidency is that people pay more attention to politics, they pay more attention to the news, and they seek a higher truth, then like honestly, fuck everything about that guy. But it's a win for society if people actually give a shit.
It's a win for everyone but those 350,000 dead people.
Yeah, but I mean, like whatever,
is this the
man.
They're already dead speech?
Yeah, right. They were gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody's dying. Just act accordingly.
I mean, we could have all kinds of fun arguments about. I made it through, but one of the ways that me and Evan reconnected the other day was talking about in his new podcast. It's about kind of bringing science out to the people who might not be believing too much in it right now, and he's got a good old friend who I remember fondly from my days when I used to hang out with him a lot. This kid Robin, who's no longer Kid Robin, but he's an adult now. But he's also like 10 times smarter than everyone I've ever met added up. Like MIT graduate, multiple other colleges, all kinds of other stupid shit. He's a computational biologist, so he's got that guy helping him deliver some science on people, just dropping the science bombs on everyone.
Yeah. Robin Robin's an old. Okay, so I guess the podcast is a good way. That's a good segue for that one. The podcast is called Bursting Bubbles Scientific Real Talk because we keep it real. Robin
when keeping it real goes wrong. One of my favorite skits.
So, Robin and I have known each other since we were kids in Palo Alto, back in California. And he, you want to talk about going in two different directions, man? Like, you could not go in two more different directions than how he and I went. He went to UCSD, studied biology and computer sciences. Then he got his PhD at MIT. They literally made a program so that he could go to their school, computational biology, CISB it was called.
Yeah, I remember when he was just showing up there and they were like still working out the program,
right, all the kinks,
so they could figure out how they got him enough credits to earn the PhD.
Right, exactly. Because the dude's he's just a genius. I can't describe him in any other way.
No,
he's also
the proper use of the word.
He's also like super chill. After MIT, he actually he disappeared for a while, went to France and went to the Institute of Pasteur. And now he is back in Cambridge because that's where all the biotechs are. And basically, like, you know, when COVID started happening, I had all of these conspiracy theories being like thrown at me by a lot of people that I couldn't fucking take it anymore, but I didn't have any science to back it up. Yep. So I just started reaching out to him, and it was all through text messages. Yep. I was like, and same thing with you, Greg. I hadn't seen him in years, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, man, like, you know, can you drop some knowledge on me about this? And he just started like responding to everything that I asked, and he became my scientific advisor. And then I started publishing them on Facebook, and people just started asking us left and right, like, hey man, like, you know, would you guys consider doing a podcast? So we were like, sure, let's give it a shot. We are on episode, we just finished off episode 2. So it's very fresh. We're still sort of getting our, like, you know, getting our feet wet in the whole thing, but it's great because, like, you know, when people tell you that you think you're smarter than you actually are, right? When I listen to this podcast and I'm editing it and I'm listening to how Robin and the different ways Robin and I talk,
in the back and
like,
forth of it. Yeah.
Oh, it's the epitome of me, dude. I'm a fucking dumbass. Like, this guy.
People like him need the person to be the straight man, though. I mean, even though, like, in a lot of times the super genius is the straight man, for him, he's got so much information, he needs you to sit there and extract it from him. By not having this knowledge, it makes the show work.
For sure. And the funny thing is, of course, that, like, I love using big words, and I'm not even sure if they're real words, and usually they're not, but I run with it anyway.
Right. You've always done that, though, and I enjoy the hell out of that.
Oh, ferociously.
Yeah.
But like, the reason that he wanted to do it was the exact opposite. Basically, nice. he never hears anything outside the science world. So all he ever hears,
all of his time is deep in the science.
Right. So having me is a great way for his people and his bubble. That's why we call it bursting bubbles, because we all live in our own bubble. His bubble hear what us, you know, us plebs are hearing out on the news all the time. So it's, as much as it's me, like, hosting the show and being, like, you know, asking this question, that question, it's also, it is a good back and forth between two old friends who've known each other our whole lives. But,
and you know, it's cool, man. About your, I had reached out just to say hi to him and then ask him about the mask, because one of the viewers last week wanted one, and so I've connected you on that. So yes,
thank you.
That's
thank you
on
you
much. Now. Out of my hands. But I got nothing else to do with that. But the thing is, you know, then he said, have you listened to my podcast yet? And he linked to it, and it was called it was about the pandemic, and that video that came out, the documentary that was horrible and full of lies and misinformation, and it was about talking about what was wrong about it and the effect of how bad this was on, you know, certain, you know, segments of the population, like most of the MAGA and Q cult people. And then we got to talking about me getting sick with it, you know, early on, way back, and the side effects, which a lot of you have seen, and now that I'm even about to mention it's gonna happen, is me yawning like 10 times a show because of my oxygen intake.
Yep. So what he's yawning about is actually something that Robin clued me in on, and it's what people are most afraid about, besides the whole, you know, dying in mass numbers. One of the things that's really scary about COVID is that it has long residual effects. The science world is calling it long haul, like they're being called long haulers. And so basically what happens is that they don't really understand why, but unlike most diseases that once they're out of your body, they're gone. COVID seems to just linger. it sort of deteriorates your ability to have cognitive thought. See, I did it again.
Yeah.
Cognitive
I like
thought.
that word though.
Me too. See, there's a couple up here. I went to Tufts for a couple of years. And the oxygen is a big part of it. It just sort of sticks around. So like, even those people that are like not worried about dying from it or whatever, like just remember that if you catch this fucking thing, it sticks around, dude. It doesn't just dip out after you feel better. And obviously, Greg, I wish the best for you. I was sad to hear that you had it, happy to hear that you were over it, and also kind of happy that you have long haul effects, because now I feel like we're on sort of the same intellect. But nah, like, it'll get better. They're working on it, and
I know you only used me for my car.
Right. The nerd mobile. Oh my God, bro. Yo, when we went to Salem that one time on Halloween and you got to
that was
park,
fun.
that was so fun. We went to Halloween. What that was like 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And
it was like
Greg
2006, I think.
Yeah, it was a while ago, dude. And Greg had this, you were working for this like nerd company. It was like, one of those like you call a nerd and they come over to your house and fix shit. And they just like let him hold on to the car, and it was
even though I wasn't like one of the guys going out to people's houses, I worked from the office managing all of our techs. The boss knew that I was really bad at paying my rent, at keeping a car legal, and paying any of the bills or anything to do with government paperwork. So instead of having me go through all that and me not showing up to work randomly, he just let me keep one of the company cars for a few years, so I would at least show up. But then I also got to use it whenever I wanted, and they paid for all the gas and everything. It was amazing.
Yeah, and we got to park in commercial parking only.
Oh my God.
That was the first for me. So like for those of you that like aren't from the Boston area, like Salem, Massachusetts, their Halloween is like Mardi Gras for them. The place just degenerates into insanity. And if you're trying to go there on Halloween, just like don't bother. So Greg got it in his head this one Halloween, like, yo, like Ev, let's get in the car. We'll grab our girls. Let's go take a trip to go check out Salem, like on Halloween. And I was like, all right, dude, like I'm drinking anyway. I don't care. Sure. Like, let's go not park for an hour and drive around. And we got right into downtown, parked in a commercial spot, went out and like partied all night, saw some dope art, watched so many people like just vomit everywhere, so much vomit. And then like got in the car and left. It was insane. I've never
problems with commercial plates, man. That was fun.
It was dope. Yeah. To this day, I'm still like, man, does my car count? Like it's a truck now. Can I get commercial plates? Like,
you can. They're not that hard to actually get.
You're right. But I just have it. But yeah, that was man, those were the days.
Those were the days.
Yeah, dude.
Oh God. So now, of course, we're dealing online with all of the people who have their excuses as to why today went the way it went. And so on Parler, which I'm on, and on Twitter, I posted the list of early excuses I was hearing already from the right, and I said the list of some of the lies they'll be telling will be it was Antifa, not us. It was a false flag. They let us in on purpose. And for politicians, I never encouraged them. But then I asked people to, of course, give me more. And, man, did they ever. All kinds of them. They'll say they were paid actors by Soros.
Oh, great.
There's literally footage of police letting them in. No, there's footage of police moving a barrier to let them into a penned area that they were supposed to be in, not in the building. You idiots.
Right. Well, I don't know though. But hold on, because once again, the cops, when all that started, the cops are already saying that they were overwhelmed to begin with. But I really didn't see much of an effort.
So there's a video that shows the group that made it to the floor and made it into Pelosi's office and everything, and they come in one of the smaller entrances, and there's only one cop standing there by himself, and it's a slightly older cop. And he has his nightstick in his hand and is slowly backing up as they just push forward. And all the way in, they back him up 2 flights of stairs to the chamber. And because he's alone, and no one comes to back him up. And so, like, they didn't let them in, but what's one guy going to do when 50 Q-tards, run in the door?
It reminds me of like when my time living in Oakland and sideshows would happen, and when like basically like entire gangs of cars would sort of like take over a section of street and just start popping off and like doing burnouts and spinning donuts, and then you get the one cop that would like come over on patrol and see it and just be like just slowly back away, just like
I wasn't here.
Right, you guys have your fun. I saw fucking none of this, but yeah, man. Also, I have a theory about Georgia. I said this yesterday, so I'll put it out here. I think no matter how the runoff election in Georgia went, we were going to hear the right say that that it's proof that the election, that the actual big election was faked, right? If the Democrats won, the left won, so they're going to say that's proof that elections are rigged because we lost. If the Republicans had won and the Democrats had lost, they would have said they had to make this election fair because and that's proof that the last election was fake. So any way you sliced it, it was going to be.
I only disagree with one part of that.
Go for it.
Well, you said the Democrats, the left. The Democrats are the center.
Right. Okay. Valid.
The left
valid.
is the left.
Right.
The Democrats aren't
valid.
even close to left.
That's valid.
Democrats
especially with
are
Biden, man.
Center right.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I agree.
Look at any European country that has a similar distinction of left right, and you will find that our Democrats are considered far right. And that Republicans here wouldn't even be accepted to like stay alive in those countries, let alone like they're extremists. And
they really are.
Progressives that are getting ignored still would be centrists. Like everything moves that way and aligns correctly. If we just get rid of all the Republicans and the whole right, just get that whole side out of here.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. And somebody just said in the chat, there is no left in USA. A left government would not hesitate in free healthcare for all. I totally agree with that. I was a Bernie bro for, if you want to call me that shit. I believe in free healthcare and
Medicare for all.
And Medicare for all and also
Deal.
Right, universal
UBI.
base pay. Yeah, all of it, dude. And we should everybody has the right to live, but here's Catboy. That's okay. Like moderate socialist, I will take all day long. I don't, I'm not.
People who hate the word socialist are literally buying into Cold War era CIA propaganda that made them think that's a dirty word, and it is not a dirty word.
Most of our systems that we use every day, highways, schools, libraries, all of that was during a time in America that right now would be looked upon as socialism, right? That's when we were the most prosperous, and when we were the highest taxed. We got shit done, and we still we still use it every day. So yeah, I don't know. There's something to be said for a revolution.
Well, my issue here is, capitalism just, to me, is, it's weird because I think true democracy in any real form and capitalism are almost mutually exclusive. Yeah. I don't agree that they can be brought together in any way that lasts. You will always end in oligarchy if you put those two things together. That's how I see it, and we're watching it happen right now. But go back thousands of years and then work your way forward, and you will find that every democracy that actually kind of worked like a democracy, people had their vote. Oligarchies came out the other side when they started to work towards market economies, and then there you go, oligarchies. Now the Greeks early on, their solution to was start a democracy, let the people vote, work towards free market maybe. Oh, now there's oligarchs, kill them all, and they did that twice. So like, I
don't know. It's funny. There's another podcast series I'm working on right now / live stream series, which I wish I had it going, but so I could blast it out here because it's going to be a really fun one. Another one of my friends is a professor, and he's a professor in history and economics, and he's also a gamer. So we're going to combine the two together, and I'm just going to kind of lead him in a direction and to go off, and he has got some really good facts for how basically right wing can't exist in modern day democracy without without messing with the system. If the system was left alone, there wasn't gerrymandering and all that. He's got some pretty good evidence to back up the idea that they just wouldn't be around. That party would not exist. But I don't know, man. The two party system is fucking stupid.
It's a false dichotomy. It is a duopoly. The thing that people don't seem to fully grasp that are really loyal to either one of them is that the DNC and the RNC are best friends. Mm-hmm. And the DNC exists and has its power because they have a strong enemy that they can show to their base that will get them donations. The RNC and the GOP have their power because they get to point at the Democrats and say they're the bad guys, help us defeat them. They work together on that. It is a show, and they both want to make sure that they both remain in power. To do that, they have instituted all kinds of laws related to redistricting, like the gerrymandering, laws about how we can vote, where we can vote. They have built caucus and primary systems that work to their advantage and only their advantage. And it is just, it is built specifically to keep a third party from ever getting elected in this country. And the way that works is electoral reform, right? But the people in power would have to vote in electoral reform that would eat away at their power. So instead, you've got to get people into the system through whatever means are right now, say, an AOC, a Cori Bush, some progressives. And I think Cori Bush is amazing. She is introducing a bill. She posted it to Twitter already tonight to oust all of the Republicans that are the problem today with them denying the results and everything, challenging the results. But
good.
They have to play in the system in order to get in. And I love them to death. The whole squad, I want 200 of them. But they also have to play in that system. And it makes it hard for them to get the big progressive things done until we get enough of them in. And so the electoral reforms, I would say we need ranked choice voting as a start. That would allow third-party candidates to get votes while still not taking votes explicitly from the two parties, which is a thing I think would be one of the first things we can slip past. And we're seeing that happen in some states, some cities, some counties. If you go to fairvote.org, you can track what states, cities, counties, and other elections are run by it now. But Maine is now running all of their elections through it. Multiple others are working on it. It failed to pass the vote here in Massachusetts on the last round of elections.
Such a shame, dude. Yeah, it sucked.
Wasn't even close. That was what really pissed me off.
They didn't know. They didn't understand it here, though, and that's one of the biggest problems.
It's hard to explain to people who are used to only saying, "Well, that one has an R by their name or a D." They're so dumbed down to just know to choose that. Yeah. But then you also need the national popular vote. The Electoral College is absolutely rigged. Because the Democrats have their super delegates to make sure that they can sort of play with things, and then the primary and caucus system would only work if it entirely ran on one day. What happens is they get to run it like a small batch of it today, and then test the waters on who's going to work, and then throw their power behind certain people, and then finally decide that that's the company man, that's the guy who's going to do what we want, and these guys aren't, and then they get everyone else to leave and back this guy like they did this time again. And then the candidate who is most for the people loses. However, if your caucuses and primaries all ran on the same exact day, you don't get that anymore. It's just an answer. It's what we really want. Plus, you don't get the interesting problem where when people start to see someone winning, when they go to their caucus, they'll vote for that person even if it wasn't their first choice. Because they want to be able to say, I voted for the winner.
I voted for the right. Yeah, it's socialism 101. No, for sure. First off, AOC is the fucking truth. AOC is, I mean, like, if you have to call your boss to ask if you could get out of your shift because you just won an election, that's somebody I want in power. I want somebody that knows what it's like to be out here struggling, dude, because shit out here fucking sucks. Second off, Electoral College is just so stupid. Like, just can we be done with it already? Like, one person, one vote, just be over it. I'm so over it. It makes no sense anymore. There's no reason that one, like, town in Philadelphia should mean this much, right? Like, why Masters doesn't mean anything, and like it's only gets, like, we get one visit,
no, national popular vote, period.
Yeah, right. One person, one vote. After that, I think the biggest reform is we just need to get the lobbyists out of Washington, dude. Get money out of politicians' pockets.
You'll start to do that when term limits come in. If you can get term limits for everything, it makes it where they have to buy off a hell of a lot more people because it keeps rotating through. Right. And there aren't enough seats at the various companies to have that revolving door for the amount of people that would be coming through with term limits. It messes with a lot of the corruption of the system. It doesn't fix all of it, but it's another cog in the wheel. And yes, Dr. Abinway, I do see, like, the 10 demands is a very specific set about, defunding the police, abolishing the prison system, ending carceral punishment, and I'm 100% here for their entire platform. 10 demands for justice is amazing. Patrona, Awkward, that whole team are awesome. But on this one, this is like a different set of 10 demands, Right. And I would say for the national popular vote, if anyone actually cares about that, there's a compact called the Interstate National Popular Vote Compact, I believe, the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, however the fuck you say it. You can Google it, and you can go look and see how many states have already signed on to this, but it's very close to being enforced.
Yeah, or DuckDuckGo it. You don't have to Google it. You can DuckDuckGo things.
That was more a verb.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The fact that using Google as like a verb has become a thing. It's just something ingrained in your head. I met those dudes. I made one of their first advertisements. Their first advertisement ever. It was in my high school newspaper, and I got to help make it. And when we first heard about Google, we thought it was the stupidest fucking name we'd ever heard, and that they were never going anywhere, and we almost laughed them like out of the room, but we took their money because it was a high school newspaper. And then fuck, dude, 30 years later, right, Bing only. Dude, if you don't know about Ask Jeeves or Alta Vista, you don't know me.
Nice.
But yeah, man, there's great stuff out there. The prison industrial complex is another big blight on our society. The legalized slavery that we have that can put such amazing people that maybe need rehabilitation, or maybe the law is just fucking retarded away for life, is just, it upsets me on a daily basis. Greg, you obviously know about it way more than me. I've only had to do a couple overnights, and debaucherous, sir, this is a Walmart, please put your pants on type shit. But it's just, I have somebody very close to me right now who's doing an exorbitant amount of time for a crime that really drops down to addiction. And it just doesn't make sense that we have somebody, this it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Granted, this friend of mine is college educated, very intelligent, very close to me, but none of that matters. Addiction is something that needs rehab. The ramifications of addiction is something that needs to be addressed through rehab. I have people in my life who were looking at 25 to life for graffiti, for the 3 strikes law. That's not something a modern day civilization that shouldn't even be anywhere near on the books. I don't know how much we can get into the crimes that Mr. Housh committed, but let me tell you, they weren't worth much fucking time, dude. It was the stupidest thing. And that's like, get those 3 things set and taken care of, and we're on our way. But until then, man, we're just sort of, we're just out here trying to do the best we can,
Mark, there wasn't a peaceful protester shot. There was a non-peaceful protester shot. Yeah. And as for draining the swamp, yes, let's get rid of all the criminals, the entire Trump family. As for banning you, why would I? Half of the times chatting here is just fucking with me. I love it. Hate views are views, man. Subscribe, hit that follow button. Come on, Mark. I mean,
subscribe, and hate.
What are you, a socialist who doesn't use money? You're a right-wing capitalist. Give it to me. There you go. There's the follow. I love you, man.
we were doing this show in Pennsylvania of all places. It was a drive-in. That was one of the things I had to do during COVID was projection mapping and LED walls, drive-in concerts. Super fun. We go the way it's a super long setup. So like you go, you set up. It takes like an entire day to set up. Then you like sleep for a while, or you have like a few hour break, and then you got to do your show at like that night. We had done the setup. We were finishing off setup. We were about to go home and leave. And all of a sudden this Republican Party comes in, and apparently they were supposed to do a rally on the same place where we had just set up our stage. Right. And they are screaming at the top of their lungs at this poor, site manager. They're just screaming at her. Why is all this shit here? I didn't order any of this. We need to take it all down. We have 500 people coming to this rally, blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, well, no, we're not. Then they come and they bring out this tiny sign on some PVC pipe that's like, who suffered such and such for mayor. Right. And it was like, and they're just screaming, and they're trying to put this tiny sign on top of $500,000 worth of gear. So to make him stop, we were like, look, like, Evan, will you do this? And I was like, dude, you're paying me money to do this. And believe me, I got my money, but I, put up an American flag on the LED. I vomited on the way out, but they asked me, they're like, oh, you can do that. Like, would you please, I have this video, and can you put up my logo and you put up this? And I was like, sure, absolutely. But here's what it's going to charge. They were like, oh, you're charging? Yeah, no, we're good. Have a nice day, sir. And it's like, dude, that's the mentality of the right-wing GOP right now, is like, I want everything. I want it for free. And if not, then you're in my fucking way. Yeah. Like, give me a break, dude. Meet me halfway. You want me to work? I need to get paid for my work. I don't care about your political beliefs, except that you're a fucking moron. So pay me double,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Anyway,
for the work stuff, yeah.
Right.
And,
side
good
rant.
times.
Yeah, it's fucking awful, dude. But what are you gonna do?
Good times. Good times.
Yeah. So Greg, let me ask you before you move on to the next thing, man. Did you were you able to get to any of the protests for BLM over the summer, or were you busy and being sick and whatnot?
I made it to about half of them here.
Nice.
And my knee started acting up, and I had to take a couple months off from doing that stuff. I injured my knee pretty badly. And then I went to Seattle for Chaz.
No shit. How?
Me and Rod were there for a week.
How was that, dude?
I wanted it to be way more like Occupy in terms of how we organized things. And and the people on the ground, there were some really amazing people there, but there were some who just weren't. And so they ended up doing a lot of work with getting the city to make some changes, but they never got organized in a way that would lead to like big change. I couldn't get them to reach consent on anything. I couldn't get them to hold meetings. It was tough. There were too many factions, too many cliques, and I wanted a little better, which is why I went out there in the hopes that, like, I still remember all of our, direct democracy and process and consensus building. And we even, unlike a lot of the other Occupies, OccupyBoston.org is still up. And all of it's how you do this, what the hand signals mean, how you get consensus, how you get completely separate people with different beliefs to reach consensus, and how you work on various forms of direct and process democracy are all still up there. So you can go read all of that, and even down to our meeting minutes from all of our public, like, where we did this and had mic checks, are all still up. So so I went out there in the hopes that we could get a lot of that, in place and see if we could maybe move quicker and it wasn't happening. The city gave a little space, but that wasn't because the city was trying to be nice. They were trying, to find a way to end it.
Right. They weren't actually trying to make change. They just kind of wanted you guys to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they basically did the whole suffocate you with space by letting you peter out because people are going to get bored and need food and have to go home and feed their cats. They pulled that move, and it worked.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of one of the biggest problems that happens with a lot of the no leader movements that we have, is at some point it starts becoming warring factions, and it's a shitty truth. But it's like we don't want to be followers, but at the same token we still need a voice to lead us, and when you don't have that, things can get pretty sticky pretty fast. But from what I saw during all that time, it just looked things this summer looked like they were really moving in a great direction, and you really kind of got to hope that some of those ideas stick around and the conversation keeps happening. I mean, nobody can say that they don't know anymore.
Right.
You have to take a stand in some way. The temporary death of Anonymous. Yeah. So what's actually really funny is Greg and I, so we knew each other years ago. Then he went off to go have his little vacation, Club Fed or whatever. We, disconnected. And then when he came back, one of the ways we reconnected was because I found out he was so heavy in Occupy, or maybe he saw one of my masks.
It was Anonymous first, and then Occupy, and then
yeah. But it was the masks it was the art that brought us back together, how we started reconnecting. And I remember going to your house and you having me try on one of the original masks. Oh, buddy, that was a moment in my life that I will never forget. It's that's the one. I mean, like, it looks like every other one, but I remember putting that on, and it was like it just hit heavy. And then I did the mask, and Anonymous did temporarily die off, but I think really what happened was that it got infiltrated really well.
A lot of the subgroups did, but there were a lot of a lot of people who, by late 2013, mid 2014, decided to keep doing stuff at a high level, but do it on background, do it in private, do it with small groups of people that we had learned to trust over the years, not do it on publicly accessible servers, not do it in unencrypted ways. Like, people were in jail by that point. There was the PayPal 13 going on. There was Jeremy Hammond. There was just all this stuff going on. Barrett was, being run up the flagpole for 105 years. Like, it was a lot. So a lot of the people who could actually, let's say, get shit done that weren't in jail yet or on their way, went a little more private and stopped using the name, just kind of went off and did their own thing. And, now there's a lot more of those people coming back out kind of into the broader, like, let's get some news coverage on some of this shit, like you and whatnot.
Right. I mean, that's good. The thing is, I remember there was a time in like 2013, 2014 that I went to go look up. It was even later than that. I went to go look up Anonymous on YouTube just to see the state of affairs. It must have been later than that because we're now in 2021, which is fucking
crazy.
Weird. But somebody was using the Anonymous face and the voiceover and the creepy music to perpetuate a UFO thing or like something like that on YouTube. And I was like, yo, this is mad great to watch, but like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I wanted to come here to see some sort of rebellious spirit, to hear news from a different angle. I don't give a shit about the Kardashians. That matters to me,
Yeah.
So, but no, it's good to hear that's coming back.
So you don't care that Kanye and Kim are getting divorced?
Oh my God, really? That's so sad. I thought they got
I know, like, if that shit
terrible.
didn't trend on Twitter all the goddamn time, I wouldn't see it in the sidebar. Like, I mean, please stop trending that shit.
I mean, but that's the thing is people, especially right now, everybody wants something bigger than them. Everybody wants something to get distracted by. I'm pretty much stuck in this room. This is a 10 by 10 room. I'm stuck in it. If it's not for my artwork or, my random shows or my like guerrilla projection mapping that I do randomly, it's like I'm pretty much stuck in here. So I can understand why people are so obsessed with celebrities right now. But like, you obsess with celebrities and you get Donald Trump, dude. Like, fucking read a goddamn.
Stop it.
Right. Knock it off.
Although I am going to bring some celebrities on the show at some point here soon.
Oh, for sure. Celebrities are dope. Don't get me wrong.
No, but not for literally, because they're actually kind of, there's a few really awesome people who just also happen to be celebrities. Like one of my good friends who makes a lot of amazing documentaries, but happens to also be famous for other shit.
Is it Werner Herzog? Are you bringing Werner Herzog on?
I would never.
Little Dieter wants to fly.
But yeah, so like, in fact, there might be a couple documentarians coming on, but one a little more famous for other things, but one who made a very good Anonymous documentary. But,
okay, hold on. I have got to tell chat this something real quick. Like, there was a time in my life that I couldn't fucking go to sleep without hearing Gregg's goddamn voice come on over my television. This kid was in like 3 or 4, like I fall asleep watching documentaries, and oh my, like there was this one night that somebody was doing, it must have been like, it was like a marathon of them or something, and I would just hear your voice like as I'm falling asleep, and I would just hear that, oh yeah, and I'm like, why is Gregg in my room? And then there you are, it's Gregg Housh, anonymous member, blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, but yeah, fun times, man. You're right. Always in my life, bro.
You reached out to me on one of those like the next day, like, you kept me awake, asshole.
I did. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I miss you. This is an excuse to hit you up and say what's up.
It worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
It really
that was
did.
the whole goal.
Really
you know?
Yeah, good. Just to get to me, you stalking bastard.
Yeah, obviously. Man, it's all crazy, man. The NPR's guidance on reporting on everything today is that they will not call anyone related to it protesters. Instead, they will call them, quote, pro-Trump extremist, and they will call the event insurrection. So their style guide is that.
Good, but are they really extremists? I have yet to meet a subtle Trump supporter who doesn't put that on. Like the first thing you see when you meet them, they're like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm a Trump supporter." Like, dude, like you know, I don't think they're extremists. I just think there was a congregation of Trump supporters in one space amping each other up.
I think they're extremists in the more natural use of the word. I think when you look at politics across the world, where they are mentally with what they think about, you know, everything and who they support,
definitely
is super extreme. But if you look at like in that group of people, are the ones that showed up there any more extreme than the average? No.
Right. No, they're not. And their hypocrisy is amazing. Their desecration of the flag, and then anger of people who they say are desecrating the flag. It's all just, you know, petulant children demanding their own way and not getting their way. And like when Hillary lost the election, dude, there was protests to the point of just because they wanted better for their country, but everybody still accepted the election. You know, our system is flawed, but I mean, like
this is a big problem with the DNC. They put up their corporate stooges, their war hogs. They I mean Hillary is not. No matter what you believe, I don't care how Democrat you people happen to be. If there's any of you watching, which I highly doubt there are, but Hillary was a very bad candidate. And Bernie was better then. And Joe Biden was a very bad candidate, and Bernie was better then.
Yeah. The DNC stole both elections from Bernie. Let's not lie here. They sent out that email, but I'm not going to be one of those conspiracy theorists being like, "Oh, they stole the election." Like, no, there's emails that said they want Bernie, and that's just what it is. And it's just it's a shame that, like, you know, it's party over politics every time. The thing is, with this election, the DNC was going to win no matter what. The Democratic Party has made so much fucking money over the last 4 years that if they win the election, great, they're in power. If they lose the election, great, they're fucking billionaires. You know, Bernie didn't storm the castle.
Right?
Yo, that would have been so funny. Bernie Sanders, and I'm coming for your Capitol building.
My name is Bernie Sanders, and I am once again asking you to storm the castle.
I want your vacuum pennies.
Good times.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me ask you a question. What's your feeling? You
have podcasts and stuff.
I do. So
how we doing?
So what? So Mr. Housh, what is your opinion on QAnon? I mean, I gotta know.
They're fucking insane. They need to be distanced from the term anon, and I hope that they all go the fuck away and slink back to wherever they came from. I do not wish death upon them, but I do just wish that they would go the fuck away.
Right. Right. So, but here's the thing: is you as one of the uppers that you were in Anonymous.
Well, again, you say that like there's a hierarchy, and I was one of the early people who helped to organize what became Anonymous.
Right. What became Anonymous? One of the ideals of Anonymous was that there was no hierarchy, and anybody who wore the mask could say whatever they want. I mean, can you say that you want them to distance themselves from Anonymous if that was the original idea of Anonymous in the beginning, was put on the mask and say what you want?
No. What you can do is you can disagree. Remember, one of the early tenets of Anonymous was that Anonymous is Anonymous's worst enemy. So if you as Anonymous using the name hate them as Anonymous using the name, there is no reason for you not to attack them.
Okay.
That is entirely part of the ethos. And so, fuck them, and I hope they stop using the name.
Right.
Now that is the reason that me, Cortaner, John, a few people who are in the chat here right now, all joined up to Parler. I'm getting my gold badge on Parler on Thursday. Kurt already has his, so we can go over there and interact with these chuds. That's where I get all my death threats and things, is over there.
I signed up for Parler. I was on it for 5 minutes and threw my fucking phone across the room, dude. You are a sadist. I can't believe you put up with that shit, man.
Man, it is entertaining. Oh my God. Cat Williams has been my guiding light on this principle for a long time. Good old Cat Williams. Man, he has this comedy bit where he explains haters to the world. And he explains why having haters is a good sign for you in life. Why it means you're doing something, because obviously they wouldn't be mad and putting in energy if you weren't. And how you should collect them, and how you should coddle them, and how you should understand them. That your haters are going to hate, because that's what they do. That's all they know. That is who they am. To their core, that is who they are. And so instead of getting upset, allowing them to get under your skin, understand them. They're going to send this vitriol at you. Use it instead. I get more echoes and more comments on my shit over there from the people who loathe me than the people who love me. And they generate the buzz for me. I get more comments as sub comments, meaning like I'll tweet something on Twitter and then someone says something and then everyone responds to them when someone sends something unbelievably hateful. Like, if that doesn't happen, I'll get, like, 10 responses to a tweet. And when that does happen, I'll get 100. So, like, embrace your haters. Embrace them.
I mean, that's definitely a good metaphor for life. But, I mean, it's got to grind you somewhere inside. You know?
A little, but, like, you learn to redirect that at their stupidity and use it to fuel your responses.
Yeah, that's valid. That's very valid. I mean, have you always... I mean, I've known you for a long time, and I've never known you to not be chill. Did you ever have problems with anger growing up and that sort of stuff, or is this just naturally who you are?
Yeah, I did. You know some of my life story growing up, and you know how hard it was. You know, criminal family, all that stuff, people on the run, not having a house for more than a few months here or there, all that type of stuff. Just it was... And I was in the back seat of a car that was sitting outside of a bank while it was getting robbed, and it was the getaway car. And they ran out of the bank getting shot at and jumped into the car when I was 4. Like,
it's a fun time.
It was a fucked up childhood, let me tell you. So, a lot of that led to me being an angry kid. It wasn't until my late teens that I started to calm the fuck down. But I realized, that just all of that... that stuff was stupid. All of the anger was dumb. All of the energy wasted. I mean, I have some haters today that have just been at it for 10, 15 years. And they don't stop. Like, it's weekly for decades. And I just don't care. You know what? That's them. If they wanna give me rent-free existence in their brain, that's cool.
Like, I think that's smart though. I think this, hatred is a wasted emotion. That the energy that goes into getting so mad about something could be used for literally anything else, and it would be, productive, right? Somebody, Bellamy 420, that's some weird love. That's a true fact, right? When somebody hates you, they're giving you their energy. So, like, I say this with my art a lot. If you like a piece that I make or you hate a piece that I make, then I've done my job. I'm happy with it because I've given you some sort of emotional
art should evoke
reaction.
A response.
Right, exactly. If it's just fucking, shit on the wall at a hotel, then then whatever.
That's I still want to see you and Rod do some kind of art collaborative.
I'm
Some
down,
kind
dude.
of collaboration. You two would be fun together.
I'm down. I'm gonna collab with anybody, anytime, any place.
So Dr. Abinway in the chat asked who were the two guys who started spreading stupid shit on 4chan a long time ago, then figured out that people liked what they were saying and made these stupid early QAnon t-shirts on one of those, like, print on demand sites that started the literal whole thing. It started as a scam to make money, and they sold shirts, and it worked for weeks until they decided they wanted to make it bigger and got some YouTubers involved. Their names are Coleman Rogers and Paul Ferber. Now, years into this, the whole thing is now controlled by Jim Watkins and crew. And Coleman Rogers and Paul Ferber are, I think, long gone from it. They're right. Still, once it moved over to 8kun and kind of 8chan over there, it really wasn't them anymore. But it started out...
Wait, hold on. It did start on 4chan?
Yeah.
And not on 8chan? Because, see, I like really don't know much of the history. Q to me is... Like, I have a couple of Q friends, and I just tell them to shut the fuck up. I love them as people, but just shut up. And I just tried. I've kind of like, it's been on the back burner of I just don't care. But anytime I've looked into it, I always heard it started on 8chan. But like everything else shitty in the world.
It's now run on 8chan, and it got way more political on 8chan, but and way more weaponized on 8chan. But
great.
It started on 4chan as a way to sell t-shirts.
Like everything slogans. Else in the world does. If
capitalism.
It's shitty, yeah, it started on 4chan. But man, the power of a t-shirt. Jesus. I'm wearing this one right here. This is a Not My Overlord shirt.
Yep.
That my friend Mary Murph made. She made these, I think, like, I don't know, the day after Trump was elected or something like that, and was sold out the same day. It's just funny how you can wear your feelings on clothing and watch how far it all takes you.
Right.
It basically took over Pol and B for a while. Yeah, well, B's their personal army, I guess.
Well, you remember I used to wear my feelings on my t-shirt when and I still have that one t-shirt.
Which one?
The black one with the white text that says "I'm here about the," if you remember.
No, which one was that?
I used to chat. I used to, before even the anonymous stuff and everything else, when me and Evan used to go out just to kind of fuck around with the world.
With people.
I would do stupid shit to troll in public because it was fun. And so we went to what I would refer to as the rich part of town and went to the mall. And I walked around in a t-shirt that just in big white lettering on the front of a black t-shirt said, "I'm here about the blowjob."
Oh my God! Yo, I remember. Oh wow!
Yeah, right. You remember that shirt? That shit was funny.
We got some looks, dude. That was around the same time that I would rock the "Nobody Knows I'm a Lesbian" t-shirt, or my anti-flag shirt. Yeah, dude. You and I used to fucking troll.
I'm gonna get them on the show.
Who, anti-flag?
Yeah.
Oh, do it, dude. Please, God, they've got to be old at this point. But then again,
they're amazing though, dude. I'm friends with a couple of them now. Like we actually like DM and shit, but so I think I can. So I'm gonna try for like next month or so. I wanted to get a little better at this shit before I started inviting like those people. Right. Like,
yeah.
And I think I'm slowly getting it.
Questions. No, you got it. I mean, come on, Greg. You just got to be you. And you seem to bring on the right type of people. I think I'm amazing to bring on. So it's like,
I mean, look at this guy.
Right. It's a kid. Can you not? Right.
Yeah.
And then you bring on Lauren, like she like, when I couldn't make it, there was a time that I really couldn't make it to the protests anymore. I had to start being a little bit more careful for the people around me. And she was the one that like, I still felt like I was there because she was still representing my beliefs and doing it to the fullest of her abilities. So like mad respect to Lauren. She's amazing. And then that's also when I shifted and started doing guerrilla projection mapping. So I would do like Black Lives Matter and resist things at like, the old State House where the Boston Massacre was, or like, I just kind of drive around Boston or Philadelphia and find places and set up a generator and a projector on top of my truck and just blast out whatever I wanted.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, when you have the right people in your life, dude, that are doing the dope shit, everything's great.
Indeed. Dev Null, every time I hear the word turncoat in my head, literally instantaneously, turncoat, killer, liar, thief, criminal with protection of the law. Like, it just instantly, that line goes right through my fucking head. That is one of my favorite songs, although, like, my favorite song of theirs is $1 trillion.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's still my favorite song of theirs. But Turncoat is fucking amazing. I like everything they've ever done personally. Like, we really agree on all the politics.
Yeah, they're and also they were just solid musicians. They had a great message. Solid musicians. I still.
They have a good label. AF Records is awesome.
Yeah.
One of my friends' bands is on AF Records. So
which band?
Much the Same.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You know the role that you played for me here in Boston? The lead singer of that band played that role for me when I lived in Chicago. He was that friend to me, like, every night.
That's dope.
He even got me the job that moved me to Chicago. Like, all that. Like, he was that guy for me.
It's good to have friends like that in your life. It's especially during this mass exodus right now. Apparently Massachusetts is one of the most moved out of states in 2020. Right. So it's like, on the one hand, I'm like really sad because a lot of my friends are like dipping out to other parts of the country. And on the other hand, I'm stoked.
Here, though, also for college. Right. So a lot of the moving out is,
It's just funny. Boston is so transient and so is San Francisco in a lot of ways. But like, same here, man. That's the thing. Is like, when you live in Boston after a while, it's because you got stuck here for some reason.
Yeah.
Like I've tried leaving for Virginia, New York, San Francisco so many times, and yet somehow like something always calls me back that I have to be here for.
I'd move back to California if I had the opportunity.
Yeah, and the money though, dude. SF,
the
Bay
part
Area,
of the opportunity, right? The cost.
Right. It's unreal pricey. But who knows with like how everything is right now with, people being able to work remotely, because SF is all tech. So you can telecommute anywhere, anytime, all the time now. So like I'm hoping there's a mass exodus from the Bay Area too, because I would love to move back, to where I consider home.
That's too expensive up there, man. I mean, I used to love when I lived in LA, like going up the PCH all the way to San Francisco and like stopping in Big Sur off the cliffs and everything. Like, that was all fun. But like, by the time you pass Big Sur and you're getting closer to like San Francisco, like, you could even just at the gas stations tell, like, you pass like about 10 miles past Big Sur and suddenly a Pepsi, like just 20-ounce Pepsi, it goes from being like $1.90 to like $3, and like by the time you make it into San Francisco, it's already like $4, and you're like, it's just a sign of like how expensive it is by the time you reach city center.
I was living there, I think it was like 6 years ago now or something like that, and that was the most recent time I was living there, and I was living in the Fillmore, and granted, SF, the whole Bay Area isn't what it was when I was growing up. It's definitely changed from like, crazy amounts. But yeah, I would, if you want to leave your apartment and you're living in SF proper, be prepared that somehow you're going to end up spending $50. Like, you can't just, unless you're just going straight to Dolores Park. But even then, like, you got dudes that like would sell the rum and, what was it? It was like coconut, like rum inside of a coconut for like $10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just I miss the Bay Area, but I really don't miss all the
there. I mean, Dev, no, my issue here is I don't actually like seasons or cold or snow. Right. I would like an average 72. I mean, my issue with that is, well, if you want the average 72, move to San Diego. But right. I'm sorry if you're watching this, but I've never really enjoyed the company when hanging out with people in San Diego. And I've been there many times. Again, I lived in LA and I had friends all up and down the coast. And no, that was not my group of people. And somehow they own San Diego.
I mean, I don't know. I've never really gone down. So like I was pretty homeless in the Bay Area. I was pretty broke. And I was sort of a kid. So like, I never really got farther.
Nice. As I talk shit on San Diego.
I grew up in San Diego, Oceanside, right?
Yeah, see, okay, a lot of D-bags, yeah, right? I mean, it's just, that's what it always felt like. Like, I'd love to go down there to the bay, rent jet skis, and fuck around before you get under the bridge there. Like, shit like that. That was fun, but, like, I didn't want to stay. I would go down to the zoo and then go back home,
I would love to see your pasty ass renting a jet ski, dog. That'd be so just
again,
like,
you just bright as shit. From New England. Like, the second the sun even touches my skin, I turn fucking, like, dark. I'm from Texas, so I tan. Like, you know.
Right. You know who else does that is Adam.
Yeah.
Have you seen Adam? I don't know if Chad knows about Adam. We have this homie Adam who.
I should bring him on one of these days. They'll fucking
Yo,
love Adam.
you want to see a character? That's the dude. That kid, I will take a baseball bat to somebody's face for that kid. I love him to death, but he doesn't even need it anymore. This kid
Oh my God,
was like,
jacked?
he is so jacked, dude. He's just gone on Swole Central. Like, he's just like every post is douche, but I mean, I love him. That kid,
Yeah.
that kid, just like you, Greg, that kid had my back when everybody else told me to go fuck myself. It's like,
Damn straight, man.
it's just a good kid.
This has been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying
this. Has been fun, man. Yeah, this is great. It's good catching up with you. It's like,
you got to have some projects so I can bring you back on and we have some shit to talk about besides just the news.
All I have is projects. I have my
okay. You got to have some projects that are ready for the public.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll work on that.
Finishing projects.
right. Stay tuned.
I got lots of projects.
Yeah. You should see what's behind that screen. I'm telling you, all unfinished projects the whole way. But yeah, today was crazy. But honestly, when it all started going down, I was so excited. I was like, yo, I get to talk to Gregg Housh on the day that, like, I don't know what's going on there right now, but on the day that the Capitol building got stormed, windows got broken, like guns got drawn.
Right now, all of them, they secured the building, they secured the pathway back into the building, and all of the senators and they've all returned, and they're now finishing the job on the floor of doing the work.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely when this is done, I'm definitely going to tune into that and just kind of, it's like there's an old Chinese
basically
saying,
yeah.
There's no Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times, and boy, do we fucking live in interesting times.
We do.
But
I know I had to deal with that urge too. I mean that's why I was happy that people were chatting in the Discord, and for anyone new here, you can get there by doing this whole thing. I think yeah. I have to type like around the camera and the mic and everything, and the tablet that I'm using to still see like what's trending on Twitter, just in case the whole world blows up.
We're not nerds.
No.
Tablet and phone. And
I have
computers going
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screens.
Jesus.
And 4 of them are 42 inchers.
I mean, that's sick.
So it's stupid, all of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember when we used to work in the same office, which was your office,
yeah.
and your room was like basically just like monitor, and you would have social media feed on one, news on the other, news on another, alternative news on another one, and then more social media. Like, I don't know, man. You've always been tapped in, like with an IV towards the pulse of what all of us degenerates are doing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I had this weird setup in an office building where they hadn't rented out like 90% of the office, and the owners, like, it's like a 3-story building with like 50 offices, and it's where the original podcast was from. So they were renting out space at stupid pricing. I couldn't afford it or find them because, again, this whole capitalism, having money, spending money, not a thing I know. It's not going to happen. Sorry.
Nope.
But like, if you subscribe, that would help. It means I get food. It's the only way I get like food right now. I think. I don't know. I don't think I have any other money coming in at this point.
No.
Could be why the bank account's negative. But
Probably.
So I literally I have an LLC just so I can do some of the shit I'm doing when I like design some small websites and shit for businesses, because you're supposed to, I guess. I don't know. Someone convinced me to do it, and then someone did the work for me, which is the only reason it exists. Because I have no idea what I'm doing.
That was that other kid that was in the office. What was his name?
Mac.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And he actually is on the show on Fridays with me, Kurt, and Mac. But so he did that, and I just decided, you know what? I have a business. It's registered to an address here. I wonder if like there's a guy who works for the city whose job it is to find me a place to have a business. So I called up the city and was like, do you have, and I described what I wanted this human to do as a job. And they're like, yes, we have a business development officer. I'm like, yeah, that's what he'd be called. And they connected me up to this guy, and I start talking to him, and he's like, I know, man, I know, like everyone in government here knows you live here. And I'm like, oh, okay, hi. And he's like, by the way, like, just so you know, me and the mayor watch like House of Cards together, like we love it, and so thanks
Oh
for
my
like your work on that.
God.
And I was like, oh, that is, and in my head, I'm like, oh, that's the hookup. So I explained to him, like, by the way, I didn't get paid shit for that work, because like, you know, consultant on a show like that, you don't get paid much because I'm not SAG at that point, I'm not anything at that point, so I don't have like union coverage, so I'm not getting scale, I'm getting like itty bitty money. But I mean, it paid for me to survive for like 6 months, so it was all right. Yeah. But once I explained that to him, he was like, "Oh, well, what do you need?" And I was like, "An office I can work out of with friends and shit. It needs to be big enough to have like 10 desks." He's like, "How much can you afford a month?"
Money? No, I can't.
What's that again? You want me to make money? And he said, well, that's going to cost you somewhere in the 10,000 range per month. I was like, no. You're going to have to bring that down. And by the end, we had agreed that I had like maybe the ability to come up with $1,000 a month if he helped. Like that's like
it was it was a real sliding scale. I remember that.
And so he actually said, you know what? There's a lot of people in town who like you, so I'm going to make phone calls. I'm like, who are these people? I don't know anyone in this town. And he's like, well, let me make phone calls. He called me back like an hour later with an office that had like that studio that has, that I built the whole thing in, like the sound room and like, and I'm like, what? And he's like, the building's mostly empty. They haven't figured out what they're going to do with it yet. So like, there's just a lot of space there. Go take it while they still are offering it.
It was a gorgeous building too. It was like, it was like exposed brick. And for a while I was doing
1800s boarding school.
Yeah, it was really dope. I was doing therapeutic art facilitation for a short time there. So we had brought in like this bookcase with books that I was never going to read. And I was doing like, you know, I was doing video chats with people. And then, but man, I remember when we did the opening, when we had your soft opening party and the mayor came in and the chief of police came in and somewhere like in one of my albums.
And I'm like, what is going on?
We were so shocked.
People here.
Yeah, I remember the chief of police was super nice, but was definitely grilling me for information about like what Anonymous was about, and if we were all anarchists. And I was like, dog, like I'm just an artist, like you know, like we're not all fucking trying to burn down the building. Like we're not here to cause trouble in your neck of the woods unless you start shit with us, and then you know, like you're not gonna know it's us anyway. So let's be cool.
Yeah, let's be cool.
But that
was a weird
fun
day.
Time. It was a weird day. It was a really weird day.
I didn't know how to like navigate that day because like I didn't know any of these people even like really knew I lived here or anything else. They hadn't fucked with me, so I thought that was a little weird because like I definitely done some things to get on the radars. Yeah. But it turns out I had. They just like thought it was cool that I lived here, I guess. I don't know. I don't see why, but like whatever.
I think it was one of those like you know, it's better to join them than to fight them sort of things. You know, like they didn't understand what was going on, so they were like, look, why should we have an enemy? Let's just like extend the olive branch. They were really nice. The mayor was there. The mayor had his handler. I was wearing I think it might have been my upside down American flag mask, which is back there. Yep. There's a great couple pictures that got in the paper. It was a really surreal moment though, where like, you know, reformed hacktivist Gregg Housh and loudmouth alcoholic degenerate artist Cash were like, you know, hobnobbing and rubbing elbows with like higher echelon of politics. It was weird.
It was
cool.
strange. But then I found out like they invited me to the state of the city where like the mayor like throws this event every year, just like the State of the Union. And that's when I learned why me and the mayor seemed to get along so well. The entire thing was video game themed, and he walked in to like the Zelda theme, and then when he got up on stage, Galaga was playing in the background on a big projector.
No way.
And then every time he spoke, a thing would go up on the screen behind him that was all pixelated, and it would transition with part of a soundtrack or a transition screen from like Mario or Pac-Man or even going back to like Pole Position, like, and just all these other sounds. And I was like, oh, our mayor is like an old school gamer guy and
he's just nerd
kid, and I didn't know.
Cool.
And
I mean, we're out here, dude. Us gamers we're all grown up now, man. You know.
It was weird.
Remember the days when you play video games for fun, though, not because you were trying to get 7 million subscribers. Remember back when video games were fun, bro?
Well, I still only play for fun right now because I don't think I've gotten any subs from, well, maybe a couple during that stream I did with Kurt. But we are going to actually, me and Kurtaner are going to be playing with friends of ours more often. Like one of the days of the week we're going to choose. We're going to play some newer games like...
Among Us?
No. I mean, I like Among Us, actually, but it doesn't seem anyone else wants to.
Right.
And that's, already old-fashioned, That was so last year.
It was so 2020. It was so 2 months ago.
But what we've been playing is we've been killing Nazi zombies in COD, the new one.
Dude.
Because the Nazi zombie one is fun. Because I just like killing Nazi zombies.
Yeah, I mean, you punch a Nazi in the fucking face, dude. I'm so tired of this whole like don't get me wrong, I'm a pacifist and anything, but if you're a fucking Nazi, I'll boot you in the nuts.
Right, but again, this brings it back to a thing that we've said so far and organically on every episode so far, and that is that every day is Punch a Nazi Day. It comes out every episode.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so fucking great. Yeah, I stand by that 110%, dude. If you got the balls to tell me and my people that we're not worth being alive, I got the fucking right to kick you straight in the dick, dude.
Indeed, right?
Like, fuck those guys.
Yeah, that is good times. Man, this has been great.
It has been great, dude. It's great seeing you. Let's stay in touch more often. I'm usually in this area here, or I'm traveling.
This general region. I mean, you guys can't really see my room, but I kind of sit here all day.
Yeah.
There's like a desk down here.
Right. Nice. Yeah. By the way, can we I don't know if I said it, but huge shout out to the background.
There we go.
That is one of my
favorite
movies.
So Evan gets on, and you guys can't see it, but on the chat that we're doing, he sees the computer screens from War Games behind me. He doesn't see my Twitch background, but I told him when he asked about it, I told him, like, do you know that orange dog that says this is fine? And he's like, what? And
this is fine. It's fine.
I think this is why we were best friends for so damn long.
We've been. The thing is, when you're as close to somebody as we've been together, that friendship doesn't end. It just sort of, it's just sort of like you always go off in your separate ways, but it always comes back. I have homies in San Francisco I haven't seen in 20 years.
Yeah.
But I still consider best friends. I talk to them once every couple months. It's just it's part of life, fuck, dude. I can't even imagine you trying to drag your kids out to one of my shows. Although, at some, you still have a couple.
Now?
Are they really? Wow. So pretty soon, if the Middle East reopens, I'll get them backstage passes to a show. That'll be fun stuff.
Actually, that might be a thing.
Yeah, that's scary.
Once we're not personally locking down a little more than the cities are. The kids didn't get it somehow. So
well, if you want to learn more about why the kids might not have got it, but you did, episode 1 of my podcast is actually talks a little bit about that. The next episodes we're doing are all about I think the vaccine. Then we're doing like a 3 or 4-parter about vaccines.
And again, that's with a computational biologist from multiple colleges,
MIT.
Including PhD from MIT. So it's not like just Joe down the block talking about the vaccines. This is a guy who can get into detail if you ask him questions.
Yeah, what's crazy about Robin is to me, he's family. I've known him forever, but I asked him to write out his accolades. So I had an intro, and he wrote out this fact that his research has been cited over 8,000 times. That's insane. The kid's been on the cover of Nature Science magazine for a new protein he found in rice or some
Sounds
shit.
About right.
But it's to us, he's just Robin. He's just little surfer boy Robin, but to the science world. I
remember how, I don't know how to put this because I actually love Robin, but me and you were a little more crazy in those times.
Yeah.
And Robin shows up from out of town, and you introduce me to your old friend you grew up with, and I'm like, okay, this guy's showing up to this house where I'm wearing the I'm Here About the Blowjob shirt, and he's got a button down and khakis on, and we're about to go out and get a little sloppy around town, and okay. And he
Yeah,
was a little more the guy
reserved?
who we knew was going to get a PhD from MIT, and less the guy who might get arrested tagging some wall in a train station. You know, like you know, he didn't.
Yeah,
he didn't fit in terms of like the view. Like if people saw the three of us standing next to each other, they'd be like, "And what's he doing there at that time?"
Right,
but he
for
totally
sure. But
fit like mentally. Like he was great.
Yeah, because he's super chill, and I mean that's why he and I stayed friends, and why we're able to have the dialogue that we can, is because it's like, as much as he's like a super genius, he's still just chill as fuck, and he's really good at teaching. But yeah, man, you're not wrong. That was the time that like I had two bookcases that were like floor to ceiling with spray paint.
Yeah.
And like you know, my buddy Mumbles would come over and would everybody just get fucking shithouse wrecked, and somebody would go through a table, and then Robin shows up on his way to MIT, and like it was just such a polar opposite. But yo, he stuck through, dude. You know,
he did.
Like he's just a down homie that is also happens to be one of the leading scientists in his field. And, you know,
so that's going to be an awesome podcast. It'll be episode 3 you do next on the vaccines as you start down that path. There's already 2. I'm going to link to them in the description on the YouTube. And you, of course, can respond to the tweet about this show with a link to it. So it kind of gets out there in that, because they'll, you know, all get to see it. If you have a link to it and you want to drop it in the chat, please do.
Okay.
You know,
I'm gonna have to try to do this without hitting my computer too much.
Yeah.
I should have done this.
Queued it up a little, you know.
I should have.
So chat, we've talked about a lot of stuff. We've touched on the things that have happened today. Right now, Cory Booker is standing there yelling and screaming at people. Like, I've got the TV up over here.
Nice.
So I think there's a lot more for people to watch, especially live, out there, about what's going on. That's a little important, but yeah, it's fucking crazy what's going on right now.
So oh God, it's making me do, you know what? I'm just going to have to do it later, because it's making me type in the 6-digit code.
You know what?
It's
get better with computers, man.
Oh, come on, man. I only do art and visuals for a living, bro. Usually I'm live streaming myself. All right. So there we go. Connecting to chat.
I already did it.
All right. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, check that out. There is some awesome stuff to watch. This was really fun, Greg. It's really great getting to reconnect with you, man.
We gotta keep connected here, man. So what does chat want to hear about before we go out? Like, I always like to ask chat, like, you know, we've interacted a lot, and Devnall there, you talked about not taking over the chat anymore. Dude, we need that stuff. Like, we need people to be interacting a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely. So absolutely. If no one has any like direct things they want to know from us, like, remember, I will say one thing, like, you guys want to get a little crazy with it. This guy knew me before Anonymous, knew me on my way to prison, and before I had found any activism or really decided I was going to do anything worthy or good in the world. I was still kind of coming down from being a criminal. So he might know things that he might not even remember until you ask the question.
Yeah,
so, like, you got one opportunity here. You're about to miss it because we're about to end the show.
I do have some stories, man. Holy shit. It's so funny because there's so many, and so much of it is such a blur. It's like, and I don't know how much of it I'm allowed to actually talk about either.
Right.
There was some things that we did that there was, some debaucherous shit.
Well, hey, I want to throw one thing out there. Devnall, now, you might remember way back when, Anonymous kind of existed. It was doing a little trolling. Hal Turner was fun. But then a video hit YouTube. An important video, I think, personally. And it really kind of, sparked, like, the Anonymous we know today. And it was, I'm going to put it up over the top here.
Hello, leaders of Scientology. We are anonymous. Over the years, We have been watching you.
So that's
your
my
campaigns
video.
of misinformation,
Me and
your
a
suppression
small
of
group of
dissent,
people
your
did
litigious
that.
nature.
That's my
All
upload.
of these
I still
things
actually
have caught
control
eye
that channel.
with the leakage of your latest propaganda
So for
video into
people in the chat who
mainstream
didn't know,
circulation. The extent of your malign influence
I was
over
there
those who
writing
have come to
that, helping
trust you
get
as
video
leaders has
together.
been made clear to us. Anonymous has therefore decided that your
That's us.
organization
That's our
should
little
be
team
destroyed
Marble Cake
for
from
the
back in
good
the
of your
day.
followers, for the good of
That
mankind,
made
and for
this.
our own
So
enjoyment.
yeah, I'll kill the audio there so we can keep talking. But one of the other people who helped make this video, which I will now make go away again there, but is actually in the chat a lot of times. He didn't get to be here tonight, but that was a small team of us. The team was a little larger. It was about 8 people, but who made the video was about 5 of us. And I still run that. I mean, it's funny. I still get comments on that and some of the other early videos that I have to go and respond to or take out of spam or delete. There's still Scientologists arguing with people in the comments.
They don't quit. They do not quit. Like Scientology,
No.
there's an awesome documentary series that came out, infiltrating Scientology, that these 2 like stoners in, I think it's like San Diego or LA just came out with, like, I want to say like 8 months ago now.
Yep.
Check it on YouTube. It's like a 6-parter, but it's great because they infiltrate Scientology.
Nice.
Because they're just so fucking stupid. But I remember watching it and being like, first off, being like, yo, like these kids have. First off, being like, yo, like Greg would love this. I don't know if I actually linked it to you, but I meant to. And second off, being like, I really don't think these kids know what they're getting themselves in for. Like, they don't quit. Like, Scientology, when they have a boner for you, will try to fuck your ass.
I am a declared SP.
Oh, for sure you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, but yeah. So I've been around. I might have helped organize maybe some of the beginnings of all this.
A couple things you sure did, and your stuff before then was also, you sure love your films, don't you, Greg? You still love your
Well, I had that up because the very first episode we wanted to kind of talk about me, because like they're right. Like, what the hell do you have a show for? Why are you talking to us? It's like, well, right. This is part of the origin. And so I had that queued up. It shouldn't still be there because it's loaded, wasting memory right now. You know how OBS works. But
I do know how
I haven't deleted it.
Leave it up, dude.
So I'm glad that video helped bring you in. What was the thing that I always like to say about that video that was just shocking to us is, I remember this in such detail because it's one of those moments that gets burned into your head. I'm pretty bad with more recent detail, but like this, like I know this for a fact. That thing was uploaded on January 21st at 10:21 at night. And I went to bed shortly after because I had been up for nearly 30 hours as we were trying to fight to finish the thing. And I was woken up early the next morning because we thought the video was going to play. And, like a standard anonymous op at that time, maybe 100 people show up on IRC and on 4chan in the thread and whatnot. And we end up with, a small little raid that lasts a few days. Maybe we get a week out of it. Like, that would have been a long raid back then.
Right.
People lost attention quick. And then I get woken up because the chat server's offline because like 10,000 people are trying to get on. And the video is playing live on CNN. And I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
and, So, yeah, we really didn't know. We thought it would be funny because we thought we would scare like the cult into thinking like the internet was coming for them.
Right.
And
then the internet came for them.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Then the internet rallied and suddenly there was an army.
I think that was like one of the first times that the internet actually came together.
Bot. Oh,
wow.
Bot. Oh, that's harsh.
Dude, you gotta fix that. That's some shit, man.
That will be fixed for next episode.
Wow. That is a burn.
No. You have pissed off the bot.
Wow. Yo, that bot's coming for you. The bot's a Scientologist. That's really what it is.
What was the last thing you said? Like, maybe break it up into 2 things so it doesn't do it again.
Can't believe it's deleted every message. It's so fucked up.
As I've said to the chat a few times, like, the reason it does that is because I've got, like, a little box on my screen so I can kind of keep up with actually the guest and, that I haven't somehow fallen off screen or that hasn't gone away. So I need what you say to fit in that box or I can't read it without, like, doing that over here. Like, to see it, so...
You could also put it up on one of your other like 40-inch screens, man. You know,
they have other interesting things running on them.
Stop watching so much porn. God damn.
That is definitely not what's over there. I can't talk about what's over there.
We did. That is one of the things we used to do at my apartment. My apartment in Cambridge. I will tell you this. Me and Greg have watched a lot of porn together. Not in any weird way. That's just what I would leave on. Like at my apartment a lot.
I would literally walk in the door at his place. Sometimes he would have the door locked, and also things would be so loud that he couldn't hear anything. So I'd go around the side and just climb in the window. But every time I came in his house, like there's just porn blasting on the TV. I'm
just
like,
so
oh my
loud,
God, Evan.
so loud.
It was
dude.
different back then. We were different people back then.
We were, and also porn was different because porn was like there was theatrical value to it. We had many conversations.
I don't know how much theatrical value, but we definitely talked about these situations being unbelievable or possibly that situation. But it was interesting.
But it was a different time, and the internet was less centralized. And also, I remember when Loose Change came out. I was at that apartment, and we were hanging out and talking about the conspiracy theories of that. And oh man, yeah, And then of course there was the drunken
nice.
Fuck Chuck days that you weren't drinking of, but were just hanging out with us while we were getting drunk on wine and
that was hilarious because you guys were getting drunk and high and just dumber as the night went on and saying the most stupid shit. And
but you played along. It was great.
It was entertaining. You guys were like better than watching TV.
We try. We were here to entertain.
It was good. It was good.
It was good shit, dude.
Oh man. Yeah. So. Oh yeah. That IRC was not a good place to be without being proxied up and everything else. It turns out the admins of that IRC you're talking about, DevNull, had the good old M flag on there and the S flag, and it was logging everything. Private messages, invite-only channels, everything was being logged. And those logs were then shared with a few people. I still have that tarball on an encrypted backup upstairs in my attic of literally all of it. Only because it's encrypted, and I forgot the keys to that one. So and I just haven't formatted it yet, but I know it's there. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm getting tagged in all kinds of comments on Parler now.
I can't wait to see this.
Oh boy.
Well, shit,
boy.
Man.
There you go.
It looks like, yeah.
Anonymous is doing a lot of shit against QAnon on Parler today, and it's just like a lot of back and forth, and I keep getting tagged and shit. Good times.
Good shit.
Indeed.
Oh man.
So what does chat want? Does chat want anything? Yeah, Parler is in love with me right now. I will have a lot more followers once that little gold badge shows up, because they seem to follow people with that. And people with gold badges will send your stuff around even though you don't. It's much like Twitter and that wonderful blue check mark, which I only have literally because someone was impersonating me and breaking the law and trying to get me caught for doing it. And they were like, we need to verify you having a real account, please.
I can't stand that shit.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
No, it's funny. It's just that whole verification through like the I'm a legitimate person because I have the blue check mark.
Oh, I know. It's dude. One of the funniest things was they gave us an app that was better than the app that everyone else had for a while. So a lot of the features that a lot of people have now, we had way earlier, and it was like the classist system. It was so fucking stupid.
DevNull, I feel for you, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm feeling it. I am feeling it. Like you
so
will
bad.
know next episode when that bot isn't doing that anymore, that you brought about good change for the show.
Change.
You helped the show.
Yeah.
You have shown us the flawed ways of that bot.
Toxie, leave DevNull alone.
Seriously.
Him alone.
And for everyone out there, I want to say again, showing my love here. If you like all the artwork and stuff that happens, Doxy makes the artwork for these episodes that I put out. Doxy is freaking awesome.
That's sick, dude. I like that stuff a lot.
Yeah. Evan loved the one you made for this show. He was like, my name is really large and bold.
It's really weird. That's not the name I'm usually putting up large and bold.
I know,
anywhere,
it's usually
man.
Vcash for the DJ stuff.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, or it's I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna say it.
You don't need to say it. Don't need to say it.
No.
Vcash is just fine. That's everybody can know me as Vcash.
You almost tricked me into saying it.
Almost. But it's
Good times.
I'm happy.
No,
I'm happy you didn't. Yeah.
The bot is built into Streamlabs, and it's got like a ton of settings that we've got to kind of clean up. However, if you ever wanted to make a Python bot for this thing, there are like bots for Twitch, and there's Python libraries. I would happily connect it up for you and let your bot do whatever the fuck you wanted it to do. Like I'm all about fan interaction here.
Oh my God, I would love to see what your fans do on your chat on Twitch, bro. That would be epically hilarious.
Good stuff.
Epic ponage, bro.
Oh my God, dude. What is going on? This world, man.
Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to say today that I'm sure a lot of you already know, but middle of the day today, right as people break into the Capitol, Pence unfollowed Donald Trump, real Donald Trump, from his Mike Pence account. Not from the VP account, but from the Mike_Pence one. He unfollowed him and then changed his header image to a picture of the back of Biden and Harris.
That's interesting. That's an interesting one.
That was weird.
That is weird. I'm also.
I don't think he gets to distance himself here.
No, I don't think so
and he
either.
added the president-elect thing.
Yeah. Harris, I'm not, even though I consider myself from the Bay Area, I am not looking forward to the power that Harris wields.
You shouldn't. She alone described herself, and I quote, these are her words, as the top cop of California.
Yeah.
While it was doing record levels of incarcerating everyone, including an unbelievable number of black people, especially in the Bay Area and the LA areas.
Yeah. Well, she, I can almost guarantee you that she had her hand in putting a few of my friends behind bars for
Same here.
ridiculous reasons. So
my roommate when I lived in LA is in prison thanks to her for a small drug case, which hopefully if we get some reform, we'll get him out.
That'd be nice, but the thing is, if she's in power, you just don't know. You'd like to hope that they pivot and see the country as something more than a check, because that's really what the prison industrial complex is, especially in California. It's just a money making scheme. Yeah. So it's legal slavery and it's a money making scheme, and it's just like when you give somebody that perpetuated the sort of power that even though vice presidency is largely just sort of a there isn't a true amount of power. There still is. They do still have influence. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. Biden seems like the sleepy grandfather that you kind of avoid at barbecues
or barbecues.
Yeah, right. But I think he might actually try to push something of some sort of reform, because that's what the base wants. But I don't know. It's
they don't
gonna
care
be
what the base wants.
Right. They don't. But 4 years, for the first time in 6 years, the Democrats now have.
Now we get to see who the Democrats really are, because they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And we will get to see what they give us. And you know what it's going to be? More health insurance, less Medicare for all. It will be more big pharma. It will be more law enforcement, not less. They don't do less.
No, they don't.
Again, Joe Biden, the crime bill, and the Patriot Act. Kamala Harris, the self-described top cop. During this age where we need reform, where we need progressive values, where we need UBI, Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, the party put forward a cop and the guy who wrote the crime bill and the Patriot Act.
Right. Yeah, and the anti-rave
Act. I'm not expecting much. I'm not expecting much.
Hey, I'm not expecting much either, but really,
I'm still expecting better, but not much.
That's what I'm saying. I will still take a shitting monkey throwing feces on my face over Donald Trump for the next 4 years. I hated that piece of shit back when he was just a Wall Street schmuck. I hate him even more when he was a reality TV star, and I've hated him the most in the last 4 years. And the fact that he's giving Rush Limbaugh or whatever the fucking Medal of Freedom, which is already fucked. It's just everything wrong with this country thrown right in our faces. And 2 weeks can't be soon enough. Yes, the Anti-Rave Act was total BS, as most policies that get passed are. Nobody, they don't want to help anybody.
One of the fun things about growing up in Dallas and its large German community was that illegal warehouse raves were happening by like 88. Like by the time I was 12, one of my older sisters, one of my stepsisters, had me at a fucking warehouse rave before like 90% of the country even knew that was a thing or had heard techno before. And, you know, it was interesting having such a crossover with the German community there, bringing that part of culture over into the Dallas area. And Deep Ellum, which is now like the most gentrified, like loft housing in old warehouses, those warehouses used to be where this happened. It was a really interesting time. That was fun.
But that's how gentrification works, right? Is you have like the cheap area is the fun area, and then the cheap area becomes the fun area. Then the fun area gets seen by young professionals who are like, they don't really want to live like their parents lived, but they're not true party animals anymore, so they start moving in, which means the rent increases. And then when the young professionals are in there, that's when the professionals see it as like a good place to be, where they save some rent, and the professionals are in it, and then you're gentrified. It's, you know, almost every single place I've lived, I've watched it happen. You know, that spot that we used to hang out in Cambridge, my old apartment, is now like a $5,000 or $6,000 a month apartment, dude. And when I was living there, it was like, you know, $800 or something like that. God, that was a long time ago.
Parler's been having a lot of trouble staying online today, and I don't know. I don't know why. But, you know, I've been busy for a few hours, and it seems to be working fine now. But I don't know. I won't be busy in a few minutes. Maybe it won't be fine anymore. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
weird timing.
Interesting timing. Now
no. I will say this for Dev Null, unrelated to anything I was just joking about. You don't need packets to take Parler down. Their infrastructure is horrible. I watched another dev over a screen share as he was showing me something on one of the Parler API connections he was using, and he made 12 connections to one API endpoint and literally sent one request to each of the 12 at once, and Parler's web interface didn't load for like 5 minutes. And I was like, you know, that's funny. He's actually been in the chat a couple times. I'm not going to name him, but like, it's just, yeah. I'm not going to go to prison doing that type of shit to Parler, but I find it funny watching it happen.
Somebody else do it. Yeah, for sure. But if you're gonna be throwing up something that's so controversial, you know, on the internet, like have your shit checked, dude. You know, people are gonna be fucking with you. Make sure that your stuff's on point for, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
be up to date.
Scale is complicated. I mean, they now have something like 6 million accounts, so like it's large. Scale is not complicated in terms of being a solved problem. Like all of the patterns needed to build that kind of technology stack that can handle that load exist already, and they're well documented. There are papers on them. There are books on them. We know how to build that scale now. Horizontal automatic scaling, serverless functions, and edge functions. All the stuff it's understood. However, it's still, even though understood, is, you know, fucking complicated. I'd love to see someone just read a book on heart surgery and then do a successful open heart surgery.
Yeah.
So I understand their tech stack actually still needing a little work, because they've grown pretty goddamn fast. It's been a couple years, but still, like I said this before, even though no big fan of them or the people behind it or anything, but remember Twitter way back, the fail whale was around for 4 years. Like, we used to see the fail whale page, that big white fucking whale, saying that Twitter can't load for like 4 years. So, I mean, Parler's already ahead of that, which, I mean, that's only because Twitter went through that hell and documented a lot of it.
And so they can.
And so did Facebook. They documented a hell of it too, but fuck Zuckerberg.
It's, fuck the Zuck. Speaking of which, someone just came across my screen that says Donald Trump is banned from Facebook for 24 hours after being, I guess, banned
12,
from Twitter. Is it 12 hours?
Oh, well, it's 12 on Twitter. He was banned on Facebook now too?
Yeah, it just came across my screen as we were talking about it. It just popped up in my little news feed, my little notifications. But yeah, you know, it's like, what does it say about our country that half of the country, like whatever about the next 2 or 4 years, everybody can pat themselves in the back for the illusion that they created, but half of our country is not just okay with racism, but like thinks it's a pretty good thing. You know, half of our country thought that Donald Trump was doing a dope job. That's I think scarier and says something more than anything else.
It does.
We're in a weird place, man.
Bringing that back together is I don't know.
How you do it. It seems pretty hard. It's a tough place, or just choose a side. You know, I would love to reach across the aisle and have us all come to a common.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
Right, a lot. You know, pop their tires, bash their windows, whatever. But it's. I would love it more if we could all just come to some sort of common understanding. That was
Doxy. I agree entirely. There are a lot of people who turned out to be on the wrong side of this.
Yeah, same. 70 million clan members. Yeah, you're not wrong. That's, you know.
I mean, you are. It was 74 million clan members.
Right, 74 million. Delusional clan members too. They don't just have their values, but they're also fooling themselves about what reality is.
There are so many of them that don't understand that guilt by association is a thing. Right. And that, you know, you can say, well, I don't really support Trump, but I want all the Republican values, so I'm going to vote Republican just to keep the Democrat out. That you are then supporting Trump.
Yeah, for sure.
Period. I don't care what you're saying. You are giving him the power, so you're supporting him. And he happens to be a well-known and easily proven racist piece of shit. So you are supporting racism. And then you say, well, but I'm not racist. No. By supporting racism, you are. You are.
Yeah. And sexism, and rape culture, and
everything.
Also being a fat Dorito.
Yeah.
That has no taste in food.
Yeah.
It's a scary.
Yeah, McDonald's is disgusting.
McDonald's is disgusting, but he loves that shit. It's just.
I don't get it.
I don't either, man.
We joked about it last week, but I did. Someone thought my joke was funny a few days ago on the Mr. Beast burgers, and they actually ordered it for me, and I had Mr. Beast burgers, and they are surprisingly good.
Wait, Mr. Beast actually made burgers? They didn't just do that?
He opened up 300 locations, and you can order it from DoorDash. And one of them's right like 3 miles from me, so they deliver from DoorDash. So someone ordered them for me, and it was actually really fucking good.
Are they free? Do they put money in the bag?
No.
Fucking Mr.
No, in
Beast.
fact, they're, you know, Smash Burger? You know how that like pricing, like $8 a burger? Yeah, it's like that.
Ugh. Dude, I'm all about Tasty Burger these days, but actually, let me phrase that. I was about Tasty Burger up until the pandemic, and then when Tasty Burger reopened, their burgers went to shit, and I have a theory it's because they finally had to clean their grease traps, and so, like, now that it's a clean restaurant, it's
I was
like
just waiting for you to tell me, oh, no, man, you got to order off that special private unknown menu at In-N-Out Burger. You know, that shit that they don't tell anyone. I was waiting for it.
I miss my 3x3s and my double protein style, dude.
When I lived out in LA and I would order something that wasn't on the menu, people would look at me funny, like, are you just trying to be hip? And I'm like, no, I actually like the thing that isn't on the menu.
No, this is just
cool?
delicious.
Is that
okay? Right. Don't judge me about California is so passive aggressive. My God.
Right? But, exactly. See? These people
one of the things I do love about like New England is just like where everybody here is really upfront. It's because of all the dead rats in there.
Wow, let's go.
Dude, told him. One of the things I do love about New England and Massachusetts is just everybody's really upfront. They speak what they mean, and like, you know, it's a loyalty that you don't get in a lot of other places. I really can't stand in some of the sunnier cultures, your Floridas and your San Franciscos and your, you know, LAs and whatnot, just that false nicety, that false niceness. And when like, I want to know if you don't like me, that you don't like me, and tell me you don't like me, and we can still be cool about it. Don't tell me you think I'm awesome. You say it's San Diego. Your San Diegos. Just, if you don't like me, just tell me you don't like me. You don't have to be my friend. I can't stand passive aggressive bullshit. Like, just be straight up with me. I don't have time for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
100%.
But also, I hate winter. This fucking sucks.
Yeah, fuck all of winter. I mean, I'd probably be inside pandemic style lockdown anyways because I hate winter so much.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
same.
Oh.
The summer was tough, but like because I was working, I was okay with it. Now that I'm in winter, when winter hits, I have to force myself to go outside, right? Because I'll give myself excuses. And now that I have this ultra excuse to not go outside, I just sort of hunker in from one safe place of no COVID to another. It's rugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I get you?
You got me.
Yeah, there you go. So, chat, it's been about half an hour since I asked if chat had anything else for us to talk about. We've been rambling. I do not mind the rambling. We usually do that at the end of the show. Yeah. But I kind of want to go keep up with things and go, well, that stuff that I said was on the monitor over, well, there because of the mirroring effect. That monitor needs some attention, and we're going to go deal with some of that.
All right.
So
thanks for having me on, man.
Awesome, dude. I miss you so much. Like we got to hang out a whole lot.
Let's do it.
Yeah, this is perfect timing. Everyone, this was great. Thanks for all the chat, especially you, Dev Null, for like putting up with the bot. I love all of you. Thanks, Doxy, for the artwork. And again, he's got a podcast. It's not only linked in the chat, but I will also link to it in the YouTube description that goes up tomorrow. So good night, everyone. All right.
Take it easy, guys.